Alright, welcome back to AZ Astro. Yes, hi Elliot. Yep, you always like to be in the video, don't you? Yeah. So, welcome back to AZ Astro. So tonight, I decided to do something a little bit different. I was not able to get out to my property to do any photography out there. So I'm stuck in my backyard for tonight. Just didn't work out. So hopefully next week I'll be out there. But tonight I figured I have a Optolong L-Pro filter, which is a light pollution filter. And I also recently purchased the Chroma LoGlow light pollution filter. And from what I've heard, the Chroma is supposed to be like the best light pollution filter that money can buy. But I've also heard that the L-Pro is also a extremely good filter. I have both of them. I've used the L-Pro multiple times, and I have always liked the results I've gotten from it. So I figured tonight I would put that to the test, because nobody's really talking about Chroma's LoGlow filter, probably because it's so expensive. I think the Optolong L-Pro for 1.25 inch filter, threaded round, I believe that cost me I think it was like 170 when I purchased it, I believe. And then the Chroma for 1.25 inch round, that one cost me $275. So it is significantly more expensive. I know if you want a 2-inch for the Chroma, you're looking at, I think it's like $1,200. And it's right around there in that ballpark. So I wanted to test the two filters. So what I'm going to do tonight, this is my Hyperstar. I've got my autofocus on so I can get the pinpoint stars. I'm using my QHY 183 one-shot color camera. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 30-minute exposures, or I'm going to take 30-second exposures at 30 minutes each. And the first ones that I'm going to do is with no filter. So I'm in Bortle 8, almost Bortle 9 skies, so this is like some of the worst light pollution you can get. So I'm going to aim this at Orion Nebula, since Orion is so bright, has so much detail in it that I can really get good images through all three. No filter, and then the L-Pro filter and the LoGlow filter. And I should be able to tell a difference between the three, and then we'll go in the computer and I'll show you guys. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 30-second exposures, 30 minutes each through no filter, L-Pro filter, and then the LoGlow filter. Get them all stacked in PixInsight, and then we're going to look at the raw data, all stacked. I'm not going to do any calibration frames, so no darks, no flats, no bias, no offsets. I want to get actual data from the camera itself through the filter. So that's what I'm planning on doing tonight. So once I get this all set up, I will get back with you guys on the computer. All right, so this is first set of images. This is with no filter. So you guys can see it looks a lot better than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be all washed out and everything. I do have a power line going through the image right there, but that's not a huge deal. And I guess my balancing wasn't very good, I assume, because if I zoom in, you can see the stars are with 30-second exposures kind of trailing. That's okay though. So this is with no filter, and as I said, it's coming out a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be all white and washed out and nasty, but apparently not. So once I get on the next filter, I'll get back on here. So the next filter will be the Optolong L-Pro filter. So I will see you guys when I put that one in. Alright, so we are back on the next filter. This is the Optolong L-Pro filter. Between this filter and the no filter, I do see that you can see a lot more of the nebula that comes through the image. It does cut out a little bit more of this outside gas clouds, which that's no big deal. I can bring that out in post. But I'm not going to do any processing. I'm just going to stack the images and do a background extraction, because I already know it's going to be bright purple if I don't do a background extraction. But I will put up one 30-second exposure of each in PixInsight to show you guys the single exposures, and then I'll stack them and show the stacked exposures. But so far the Optolong L-Pro is performing exactly how I expected and have experienced it to perform. So I'll let this one capture its 60 30-second frames, and then I'll throw in the Chroma filter and see how that one looks. But I'll see you guys when I get the next filter in. Alright, we're back once more. So this is the Chroma filter. I already noticed that the background looks a little bit more light than the Optolong. Both filters have this vignetting in the corners from what I'm seeing, which I believe that's my mounting that is causing that, because I have 1.25 inch filters. They don't fit inside of the Hyperstar, so I had to buy an adapter piece that the filter screws into, and then that piece screws into the Hyperstar. Well, it sits about 2 inches, I would say, away from the sensor of the camera. And so I think the further away it is, the more cropped these corners become from the edges of the filter. I have the same issue with my filter wheel, and 9 times out of 10 I just end up cropping the image a little bit to cut those out. So I'm not really worried about those. So far, from what I can tell, the center looks a lot less overexposed on this Chroma filter as opposed to the Optolong L-Pro filter. But we will see. Right now, I'm really liking the looks of this. You can see a little bit more gas in there. But I'll let this run and get 60 exposures, and then I'll pull it into PixInsight and we can take a closer look at the images. So I'll see you guys in PixInsight. Alright, so I got all the pictures done. This picture right here is the no filter picture. This is one image. This is an unstacked image. So this is just one 30-second image from the Hyperstar. And what I found really fascinating is with the no filter, you can actually see the purples in here. I've never seen that before, even with the DSLR, because I've taken pictures of Orion with the DSLR multiple times, but I've never seen it all purple like this. So for all these images, all the stacked images, all the non-stacked images, I simply brought them in. For the non-stacked images, I did have to run a debayer on them to give them color. And I did dynamic background extraction, because they were all basically bright green when well, let's see. They all looked like that, which doesn't work. So I debayered them, and then I did dynamic background extraction, and then I did a rotation to flip them up so they're all same direction. So this is a no filter. It's just really interesting to me that those came out purple, and then over here is red, or an orange color. So this is basically the baseline image. No filter on this. It came out way, way better than I thought it was going to for the light polluted skies. Like, way better. I'm surprised how well that came out. So that's the no filter. So let's look at Optolong. This is the exposure from the Optolong L-Pro filter. Now, if you noticed, the colors are more along the lines of what I would assume the colors would be. So instead of the purples, you have your reds and pinks and light oranges. This is blue over here, like I'm used to it being. The sky, or the stars, are blue like I'm used to them being, not, you know, orange. But this is the Optolong as compared to the no filter. I wouldn't say that the Optolong filter captured any more data than no filter did. As I said, I'm actually really impressed with how Orion came out with no filter. I didn't think I thought I was gonna have this big white washed out, you know, image, but that turned out to not be true. I do like that the colors are better on the Optolong L-Pro. Stars are, you know, bluer. But I don't see any additional data in the Optolong as opposed to the no filter. It all looks pretty much the same. So I'll Pop that over there. And then this is the Chroma filter. And Chroma is kind of the same as the Optolong. You have the blue right there. And then it didn't really catch any more data than no filter as compared to the Optolong. So this is really the comparison right here is Optolong over here versus Chroma over here. And right now, between the two images, I mean, oh, they're so similar. Like, I can't really tell too many differences between the two. And keep in mind, the Optolong is like $150 filter, and the Chroma is a $275 filter. But right now, just in the single frame, they look almost identical to me. I would say maybe the oranges right up in this area are a little bit darker. One thing I do notice is if you look at these stars right here and the bright spot right here, they're a little washed out in this image, and the stars are kind of white around them, whereas over here they're a little bit more visible or pinpoint, I guess you'd say, and the center isn't as bright as the Optolong maybe. The Walking Man Nebula right here is about the same in both. So that's really interesting. Very, very subtle differences in between the two filters. I'm surprised. I was expecting a much bigger difference between the Chroma and the Optolong, but so far they look like they're right on par with each other in the single image. Alright, so that's a single image. Let's go ahead and take a gander at the stacked image. So this is no filter stacked. Just like the single frames that I took, I didn't do debear. That came in the stacking. So this is stacking of 60 images for a total of 30 minutes, so 60 30-second frames. As you can tell, I did stack, as you can see right there, but I'm not worried about that. So this is the no filter, and it blows my mind how much data the camera pulled out with no filter. No filter at all. That I'm really blown away by that, because I've never really dabbled with no filter in my backyard, because I automatically assumed, I guess, that you would never be able to get a good image with no filter because of all the light pollution. But yeah, I mean, this image kind of proves me wrong. It's crazy how good this image is. But yeah, you can see the center is, I wouldn't say that's blown out, but the center is definitely bright. You can see a lot of the gas clouds. The darkness right here and right here, I'm not sure. I believe that's just a product of the exposure time. I can't really do much about that, nor am I really trying to do much about it, considering this is just for the purposes of comparing. So here's the Optolong filter, and just like the other filter, this one let in some more purples. They're not as predominant as a single frame, but you can see kind of light purples along here, but you can also see some pinks and some whites and stuff, and the stars are blue, as compared to the Optolong over here, which, in my opinion, actually looks a little bit better to me. The dark areas in these two areas is not as predominant in the Optolong as the no filter. You have much oranger colors in the clouds, along with the light gray clouds. The no filter, you can see along right here, the dark nebula parts right here are darker and pop out a little bit more in the no filter than they do in the Optolong. The Walking Man Nebula has a little bit more color than the no filter, I think. Little oranges right there. You can see the Walking Man. They both have about the same amount of actual nebula exposed, which is really nice. I actually prefer the Optolong picture over the no filter because I think it gives it more of a true color, I guess you could say. The blacks along here aren't nearly as in your face as the no filter over here. But as of right now, they both look really good. The Optolong does have some artifacts right here. These little, hold on. These little artifacts right here that are not in the no filter. Those might be dust particles, I don't know, because I didn't do any flats, so that's probably my fault. But yeah, so far, I'm impressed with the no filter. I really do like the Optolong. Let's have a look at the Chroma as compared to the no filter. So this is the stacked Chroma filter. See, I really like, I do like the Chroma filter. It did the same thing that the Optolong did, whereas it kind of controlled the blacks in this two areas more than the no filter did, which I like. The artifacts that were in the Optolong are not in the Chroma, so they're probably dust particles. I do like that the Chroma brought out the dark nebula a little bit more, but the no filter still makes that black pop in the nebula more than both the Chroma and the Optolong. Yeah, this is weird. I was not expecting to be having very little differences between the no filter and the Chroma and the Optolong. Like I said, I thought the no filter was just going to be blown out and really nasty, but it is an excellent image. So let's do this. Oh, no, I don't want to close it. I just want to minimize it. So the Optolong versus the Chroma. Man, right off the bat, I'm not seeing huge differences. I would say the Chroma has a little bit more diffraction spikes than the Optolong does. The Optolong seems to dumb down the refraction spikes a little bit. Refraction spikes don't bother me. I actually kind of like them. But, I don't really care about those. The Optolong, as I said, dumbs down the blacks more. The Chroma, not quite as much. You get a little bit deeper blacks, especially right here. But for the most part, both of them got pretty much the same amount of data. Yeah, this is really surprising. I don't know which one I like more. So right now, between these two pictures, I would use either one of these filters. They both look absolutely excellent to me. So I'm not going to say there's any clear winner. I wasn't really trying to do a, this versus that. The title will probably be Optolong versus Chroma. But yeah, there really is very little comparison between the two. They're both just excellent. But yeah, if this video was informative, if you like the video, then feel free to like and subscribe to me. I'm trying to get some more videos out more often. That way I can get some more content out there, entertain you guys a little bit more. As of the last 2 months, I've gone from 56 subscribers to 132. Thank you very much for that, guys. That's just incredible to me that 132 people actually care what I have to say. That's something I've never experienced before. But thank you so much for the support, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.